ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
भगवती उत्तमश्लोके
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी.
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी।
Reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, title Conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. And today's verse is verse number 58. Please repeat after me. Machita sarva durgani
मच्चित्त सर्वदुर्गाणि
mat prasadat tariyasi
मत्प्रसादात् तरिष्यसि।
atavet tvam ahankaram
अथ चेतुम् अहङ्कारं
nashrayosi vinakshashi.
न श्रोष्यसि विनक्ष्यसि।
Machita sarva durgani
मच्चित्त सर्वदुर्गाणि
mat prasada tarisyasi
मत्प्रसादात् तरिष्यसि।
atha chet tvam ahankaram
अथ चेत्त्वम् अहङ्कारान्
nashrayoshi vinakshashi.
न श्रोष्यसि विनक्ष्यसि।
Machita sarva durgani
मच्चित्त सर्वदुर्गाणि
mat prasada tarisyasi
मत्प्रसादात् तरिष्यसि।
atha chet tvam ahankaram
अथ चेत्त्वम् अहङ्कारान्
nashrayoshi vinakshashi.
न श्रोष्यसि विनक्ष्यसि।
Anyone would like to lead?
मच्चित्त सर्वदुर्गाणि
Machita sarva durgani
मत्प्रसादात् तरिष्यसि।
mat prasada tarisyasi
अथ चेत्त्वम् अहङ्कारान्
atha chetvam ahankaram
न श्रोष्यसि विनक्ष्यसि।
nashrayoshi vinakshashi.
मच्चित सर्वदुर्गाणि
मच्चित्त
Machita sarva
सर्वदुर्गाणि
durgani
मत्प्रसादात् तरिष्यसि।
mat
मत्प्रसादात्
prasada
तरिष्यसि।
tarisyasi
अथ चेत्त्वम् अहङ्कारम्
atha
चेत्त्वम्
chetvam
अहङ्कारं
ahankaram
न श्रोष्यसि विनक्ष्यसि।
न श्रोष्यसि
nashrayoshi
विनक्ष्यसि।
vinakshashi. Anyone else would like to lead? Thank you. Word by word meaning. Mat of me.
Mat of me.
Chitta, being in consciousness.
Chitta, being in consciousness.
Sarva, all.
Sarva, all.
Durgani, impediments.
Durgani, impediment.
Mat prasadat.
Mat prasadat.
By my mercy.
By my mercy.
Tarisyasi.
Tarishyasi.
You will overcome.
You will overcome.
Atha.
Atha.
But. Chet, if.
Chet,
if.
Tvam, you.
Tvam.
Ahankarat.
Ahankarat.
By false ego.
By false ego.
Na sroyoshasi.
Na prayashasi.
Do not hear.
Do not hear.
Vinakshashi.
Vinakshasi.
You will be lost.
You will be lost.
Translation by Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
If you become conscious of me,
if you become conscious of me,
you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life.
You will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life.
By my grace.
By my grace.
If, however,
If, however,
you do not work in such consciousness,
you do not work in such consciousness,
but act through false ego,
but act through false ego,
not hearing me,
not hearing me,
you will be lost.
you will be lost.
Anyone would like to read the purport by His Divine Grace?
No, I am not getting.
Anyone else would like to read the purport?
I'll read, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Purport by Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
A person in full Krishna consciousness is not unduly anxious about executing the duties of his existence. The foolish cannot understand this great freedom from all anxiety. For one who acts in Krishna consciousness, Lord Krishna becomes the most intimate friend. He always looks after his friend's comfort, and he gives himself to his friend, who is so devotedly engaged, working 24 hours a day to please the Lord. Therefore, no one should be carried away by the false ego of the bodily concept of life. One should not falsely think himself independent of the laws of material nature or free to act. He is already under strict material laws, but as soon as he acts in Krishna consciousness, he is liberated, free from material perplexities. One should be very careful that one who is not active in Krishna consciousness is losing himself in the material whirlpool, in the ocean of birth and death. No conditioned soul actually knows what is to be done and what is not to be done. But a person who acts in Krishna consciousness is free to act because everything is prompted by Krishna from within and confirmed by the spiritual master.
Thank you, Prabhu. Let's all chant together. Agyana timirandasya
Jnananjala Salakaya
Akshurmritam Yena
Chakshurtamena
Tasmai Sri Gurave
Sri
Namo
Gurve Nama
Sri Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Manobishtam
Manobishtam
Sthapitam Yena Bhutale
Bhutale
Swayam Rupa
Swayam Rupa
Kadami
Kadamahyam
Dadati
Dadati
Swapadantikam Vandeham
Swapadantikam
Shri Guru Sri Tapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri
Sri
Rupam
Rupa
Sagrajatam
Sagraja
Sagna Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam
Sudeva
Sadvaitam
Dutam
Savadutam
Savadutam
Parijam
Parijan
Saitam
Sahitam Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Devam
Devam
Sri Radha Krishna
Krishna
Padam
Padai
Sakra Lalita
Lalita
Sri
Sri
Visakha
Vishakhanvitancha
हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन
Sindhu
बंधु जगतपते
Jagatpati
गोपेश
Gopika
गोपिका
Gopika
कांत
Kanta
राधा कांत नमस्तुते
Namaste
तप्त कंचन गौरांगी
Gaurangi
राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी
Vrindavaneshwari
वृषभानुसुते
Sute
देवी
Devi
प्रणमामि
Ami
हरिप्रिय
Hari Priya
वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा
Kalpatarubhyacha
सिन्धुभ्येव च
Vasindovevacha
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
Pavanebhyo
वैष्णवेभ्यो
Vaishnavebhyo
नमो
Namo
नमः
Namah
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु
Chaitanya
नित्यानंद श्री
Nanda
अद्वैत गदाधर
Adhara
श्रीवास आदि
Srivasadi
गौर
Gaur
भक्त
Bhakta
वृंद
Vrinda
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
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 Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama
Rama Rama, Hare
Rama
Hare.
Hare Hare
नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः. So thank you so much everyone for joining this wonderful Sangha every Friday, 8 p.m. when we take every verse and try to understand Lord's perspective about his instructions. So here Lord is saying two things which are essentially opposite of each other. In the first two lines, he says, Machita Sarva Durgani, Mat Prasada Tarisyasi. And here, Machita is Mat means of me, that means of Krishna, and being Chitta means when we are conscious of certain things. So when you are inconscious of me, then Krishna uses the word Durgani. Durgani actually comes from Durga. Durga, Mother Durga, is very prominent, and Mother Durga is the material creator of this entire universe. And Durga comes from Durga. Durga means obstacles. Durgani means impediments, as Srila Prabhupada is translating. So Where Krishna is saying, Machita Sarva Durgani, Mat Prasada Tarisyasi. That prasada means mercy, right? Bhoga is enjoyment. Krishna enjoys the food you are offering. And prasada is the remnant. After the offering has been done, the prasada is essentially uh, remnants. So, so, so Krishna is saying, Mat prasada tarisasi. That means by my mercy, you'll overcome what? You'll overcome the impediments. So this is the first thing. And the second thing, which is essentially the third and fourth line you see, he's just talking the opposite. He's saying, Athachetvam ahankaram, if you follow your whims and fancies, if you follow your false ego, na sarus vinakshis, that means you'll be vinash. Vinash means you'll be destruction, you'll be lost. So it's very interesting, as to why Krishna is saying this. And Machita Sarva Durgani Mat Prasada Tarisisi. That means if you stay in conscious of me, all the impediments will be overcome. He is not saying impediments will go away. He will say Tarisisi. So there is a difference. People think by going to temple, by going to Lord's mercy, the impediments will go away. Impediments will not go away. So let's have that basic thing. Whenever you have a disease, you are taking a medication. The medication will help the disease, but the side effects will remain. That means you will overcome the problem, but the problem will not go away. Tarishisi, that means overcome. So that's a very critical thought process. And then he says, Athachetvam ahankara. That means if you stay within the confines of whims and fancies and you basically lead your life with false ego, then vinash. And he's not saying with a strong ego, but let's try to dissect this very closely and see what Krishna is trying to mention. So as you heard, slowly and slowly, in the beginning of this verse, Krishna went on to the different modes. He talked about action, he talked about knowledge in three modes, karma in three modes, karta in three modes, buddhi in three modes, dhriti or determination in three modes, and the fruits of action, that is happiness, in three modes, in 36 to 39. And then he talked about the Varnashram Dharma. He's actually summarizing the entire Bhagavad Gita once again. After summarizing, whenever you have a book, you have a preface and you have a summary, right? Chapter 2 is that preface. Chapter 2 is Sankhya Yoga. That means he's explaining in Sankhya, in summary. And Sankhya also means with analysis. So chapter 2 is the beginning summary and 18th is the conclusion, which is the last. So 1 to 18, 2 being the beginning of the summary, what you're like a preface, like what you're getting into. And then 18 is where he's closing it. And then in the 40th, he talked about, it's a very high level verse where Krishna is not affected by modes he spoke. He's Trigunatit, he's beyond the three gunas. And then he talked about the distinction of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya in Sutras 42 to 44. He talks about the qualities of them. And then he talks about individual work, worshipping, and he talks about material nature. And then eventually he's getting into surrender. If you see the last one or two verses, he's getting into surrender. In last verse, we spoke about Krishna asking everyone to work under his protection and supervision. And here in 58, Krishna is saying that he will help us overcome the obstacles. But if you go without the mercy of the Supreme, there will be full of hurdles. So let's try to dissect this more closely as to what Krishna means by here. So whenever we have a situation in our life where you see there are two family members in a family who have opposite traits. They look alike. They often have come from, they've actually come from the same parents mostly, and they look alike. Their behaviors are similar. But if you see the way they lead their life, the way things happen to them, there are differences. And this is where the karmic cycle, the prarabdha karma is spoken about, that in the pious credits you may work in the way you go in the direction, but also the person who is in the right consciousness, who is trying to elicit behavior which is aligned with what Krishna has spoken in Bhagavad Gita, they lead a life which is very consistent. And whenever they have failures, they have challenges, they overcome it because they always seek a person, and who that person is, the supreme person who is helping us overcome that impediment, because they're staying within the consciousness. And they're basically, it's as if you have a car and you're trying to drive within interstate, and which has a speed limit of 55 or 65. If you follow within the realms, the consciousness that the speed limit is so and so, everything will happen perfectly. You will go meet your destination. But if you don't, if you want to show off, if you want to athachetvam ahankaram, that means if you go and try to go with your false ego and try to speed at 80 miles an hour, Vinash is bound to happen. So there are the confines of the municipality which gives the rules. Likewise, the Krishna being the creator, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Sarvascha Prabhu. That means everything comes from him. And Krishna also says Aham Bija Padapita. That means he's the seed giving father. And that's why in Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna says, it's not said Krishna Uvacha, it's said Bhagavan Uvacha. That means the Supreme Personality of God is saying, and whatever he is saying is perfect, is 200% perfect, because it's spoken by the Creator. When the Creator of the universe has created this universe and he has given Brahmaji to sort of make this entire world and construct this entire world. And then Mother Durga, he is actually maintaining all the influence of Maya, the influence of illusory energy of the Lord has to be there. But that is a test. If when a kid is trying to walk, if there are not impediments, he or she will not never be able to walk, because he or she will never learn. And that is the process of life. But in this process, we fail to recognize that we have come from certain folks, we have come from certain traits, and we have come from the seed giving father, and we forget that. And in all the knowledge, all the acquisition, there's a trait where they will say the parents are the best. They're absolutely your during your growing up time they have. But when you look at the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and how it aligns, then we have to transcend and start to think that who can help us overcome Tarisyasi, who will help us. And that prasadat, that mercy, is not just going and bowing down. It's an able to recognize that there is a supreme who is actually controlling us. We are in under his guidance, under his mercy. And that may sound very, mm, very proudy, but actually, our ability to understand who the Supreme is the critical yard of success or failure. Because often we're wondering, we do not lead a life of humility, we do not lead a life of self control. Whenever we get some money, we try to show off by buying cars, big houses. But at the end of the day, do they ever give us happiness? And all this are so nicely explained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that and Supreme Personality of Godhead is not saying just run away and try to come under my consciousness by mercy, by doing dhyana all the time. He's saying do your prescribed duties as he has identified in the Varnashram Dharma. It's not a caste system. He created Varnashram Dharma based on skill sets. So someone who is good in application development is in the application development team. Who is good in database, he is in database team. Who is a good QA tester, he is in a different team. Likewise, there are thought leaders. So likewise, there are different groups, and based on the skills, based on guna karma vivarcha. He's not saying janma. He's saying guna karma vivarcha. Based on guna and karma, I've created this varnashram dharma. Not based on who you are born from. Earlier, obviously, through the disciplic succession, a person born in Brahmin family eventually becomes pious. But once this corruption has happened, the Brahmins who are born from Brahmin family, when they're ceasing to be Brahminical in their behavior. Guna karma, when their guna is not Brahminical, karma is not Brahminical, then they cease to become the Varnashram Dharma, which is Brahman, who are supposed to be the knowledge giver. So that's the reason why we have to, Srila Prabhupada instituted the process of anybody with good guna, good karma, can be a Brahmana, and he can wear a thread and he can serve the Lord. And that is a momentous thing in the Vedic scriptures. In Vedic scriptures, nowhere it is mentioned Janma Vibhagasa. Always it is mentioned Guna Karma Vibhagasa. And based on that, he has created Chaturvarnam Maya Srashtam Guna Karma Vibhagasa. Based on 4 Guna Karma, he has created 4 paths. And that path is instituted by, it was there, it was always there, but it was truly understood in the real sense by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And based on that, he is internalized this entire Vedic science through this beautiful subject matter. And you see, the example I was giving, in the same family, Hiranyakasipu was there, Prahlad was there. But Prahlad, from the mother's womb, Mother Kayadu's womb, through the instruction of Narad Muni, was hearing Krishna Katha, was hearing the names of Krishna. And he turned out totally different from the father, who was demoniac in nature, full of ahankaram. As you mentioned, there are 2 words. There are impediments. The impediments will always be there. But when you become Krishna consciousness, Krishna helps us overcome that impediment. Machita sarva durgani, mat prasada tarisati. Through my mercy, and sometimes it may appear very whimsical. It may appear that it is an instruction where Krishna is leading, and you all should follow and be, bow your head in front of Krishna. But actually, it is not. It is a process which is so well laid out by our Guru and Gauranga. And as long as we follow, the example which is given here is we have different parts of the body. We have hand, legs, we have nose. They all do different things. But if hand tries to overcome and tries to do everything which head is entitled for, it's not going to work. So in the entire cosmic manifestation, where Krishna is saying, I created this entire beautiful nature and streams, mountains, and 8.4 million species, he's focusing on the fact that all of us are part and parcel of that supreme. And as long as we work in conjunction without ahankar, as a symbiotic process, we're helping each other with true, as and the 15th of April comes, we all give taxes to Uncle Sam because it's the law of the land. And likewise, the law of this entire universe, cosmic manifestation, is to really be under the mercy and be under the consciousness, chitta, being in consciousness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And as long as we do that, we're doing our duties, we are paying the taxes in time, and by following the path of Krishna consciousness, we derive the power to overcome Durgani, power to overcome impediments. So with that, I'd like to end here. Thank you so much for your kind attention, and like to open up for some questions, comments as we discuss this very, very powerful verse, which gives us strength to to overcome all the challenges in our life. So thank you so much for your kind attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yes, Amita Prabhu, you have a question.
Prabhuji, one question. So while doing the regular activity or regular work, sometimes, like it is not always, sometimes like whenever you are talking to your friend or your family members, uh, suppose you help someone, for example dad or the father, who's the like a prime root of the family. Whenever he does something for their kids, he think about it as a commitment or my duty or responsibility. But at the same time, whenever the reverse happens, kids, not all kids, all they are thinking about like, this is not my job, this is brother's job, this is sister's jobs. Why this is happening? Because so that is we are talking, but at the same time we are following in the same path. Expectation is another thing is coming up. Suppose I create a relationship with someone, expectation also comes off, ego also comes off. So even eventually we are going to the Krishna consciousness also, sometimes it is coming up. How to like hide those stuff, how to so that I could not find out, because I regularly practice that one, so I could find out if someone is not good for me, I should be always good for that person, but that is some other person is taking as a granted sometimes. Okay,
Mhm.
how we need to make the thing happen, so that at the same time the other person should think about it. If we'll silent also, that is not the thing.
Mhm.
So in the daily life, I'm talking about the daily life, we are talking about lot of Gita and lot of thing, but sometimes it is ego also comes, sometimes expectation also comes, and sometimes I need to understand, Prabhuji has to understand what my feelings is, right? And vice
Mhm.
versa.
Mhm.
So that
Yes.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, no, excellent question, Prabhu. So what you mentioned is actually a day-to-day challenge. We all, Krishna conscious, non-Krishna conscious personalities go through. So this is a perfect example where Krishna consciousness is the solution. So as you see, when you live in a family where not everybody is Krishna conscious, they don't go by the rule book. If you have a machine which you got and you do not read the manual and you start using it in your own way, own whims and fancies, the machine is going to break. And the way to do the machine, make the machine work as per your expectation, is to follow the manual. The Bhagavad Gita is the manual of life. And in a family, you mentioned about expectation. So your parents, for example, they uplifted you, and they have expectations. But Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is saying, do your job, but don't have expectations. So in a way, let me also turn around and ask, they did the duty of upbringing, but the social aspect of having expectation of the kid is ingrained. I'm not saying this is good or bad, but this is a reality when you try to see that from. Likewise, in a family, brothers, sisters, not everybody, yeah, in our hand, we have five fingers, they are not the same length. So they all are different. And that is why, if Krishna, I've seen families where everybody is Krishna consciousness. And if everybody in a family are Krishna conscious, all of this quarrel, hypocrisy, ahankar, expectation, upbringing, desire that he should care for me, he or she should care for me. See, our society has been very much a patriarchic, a family-oriented society. But as society is moving away and they are all leading their own life wherever they are, because that That is where Bhagavad Gita is becoming more and more important, because they think what you just mentioned are some of the issues every family is going through. But actually, if you use that use case in link to Bhagavad Gita and the manual of Bhagavad Gita, it doesn't align. So how we can bring everybody to Krishna consciousness? That is the only medication. If you bring everybody to Krishna consciousness, all these expectations you mentioned, all this will go away. But it will not happen. I know there has been cravings for different things, different likings, which doesn't fits into Krishna consciousness. And that is where you can only pray for them. That, your brothers and sisters, if they all become Krishna conscious, it will go away. But on the contrary, thinking that you have responsibility, there are 5 kinds of rin, debts to your guru, to your parents, to your guru mata. It's all described in Srimad Bhagavatam beautifully. But the point here is there is a bigger purpose of life. You have this mother nature which is created, and nobody takes care of mother nature. Yamuna is being corrupted, or rather polluted so much you can't even think of. Gangas. So there is an overarching problem in our life. We have to think beyond the realms of our family, and also for family to live in a cohesive manner. We all have to pray that they come to Krishna consciousness, have the teachings. That's why in many of the family WhatsApp groups, you see a lot of spirituality being sent. Why? Because people are feeling that because of these traits, there has been challenges. And the only solution, Prabhu, I can only suggest is if everybody in a family gradually comes to Krishna consciousness. And how they will come? They will look at you. If you become an ideal for them, you become, Srila Prabhupada used to say, all my devotees are perfect gentlemen. Prabhupada said that. So if you become a iconic person, people will get attracted. Why Krishna is getting attracted? Because his name is Akarshayati Krishna. He's the most attractive, and everybody, even a Cupid, is attracted by Krishna. So be that person, and once they see your values, once they see your dedication, they will become. And that's the only way to influence change, is to become one. Okay, bro? Is that okay?
Yeah, that is the nice thing. Last word is give the all solution. Thank you.
Any other comments, reflections, Prabhu, from anyone?
It was a great class, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. All Krishna Prabhupada. How is everything with you, Prabhu? Everything all right?
Yes, Prabhuji, everything is fine. Parents are here. So they are going back to Odisha on 18th, Prabhuji.
It is okay. Actually, the flight I took to come to India, and there was a devotee couple from Odia whose parents were also flying in the same flight. So I inquired about them, how they're doing. So if you find some companion for them, that will be awesome.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. I will see. I will find out, Prabhu. How to find it out, Prabhu?
Yes, send a message in any of your groups. Somebody will
Okay.
be.
Sure, Prabhuji. I will do that.
Any other comments from anyone?
The class was wonderful, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Mataji, for joining from Canada. And what integration.
Sorry, Prabhuji. I am very irregular. I delivered my second baby on June. So only fully my schedule is clumsy like anything. Unfortunately, I'm not able to regularly join. Sorry, Prabhuji.
Okay. Congratulations on the new member. So,
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Bol, Hare Krishna for the newborn child.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
very nice, very nice. So, how is Prabhuji? Is he?
He is fine,
healthy?
Prabhuji. He is also running around like anything, and things get busy now and then. That's it.
Thank you for sharing the good news with your extended spiritual family.
We need, I mean, the entire family need all of your blessings.
Definitely. Definitely.
We
Thank
should
you.
chant for the new
Very
child,
great
Prabhuji.
news. Yes, yes.
Should we
Bala,
chant?
you have some comment?
This is an interesting concept, Prabhu. We know that we face a lot of impediments, and they kind of go away, and we think we've done something extraordinary to make them move. And sometimes we don't realize that there's a hand behind us which is trying to help us overcome these impediments. And the ego comes up saying that, well, I did it. Look at me. I was able to do this. I was able to solve this. And it's very difficult to control that ego and say to yourself that no, everything is Krishna's mercy. That's how it happens.
Yes, yes. Yes. How do you see the ego? What's your solution um, for eradicating that ego in your mind, Prabhu?
You have to be conscious of it and say to yourself that there is a higher power that is guiding you and that's taking care of it. And you by yourself, you may be doing some effort, but just by your own effort, things don't happen. And unless you are always in the conscious mind, you think to yourself and say to yourself that, well, this is Krishna's doing, this is Krishna's mercy that made it happen. It can happen both ways. Sometimes the impediments don't go away. And then you say, so that I put in all the effort, why nothing happened, right? And on the other hand, sometimes, things get solved. And so in either case, you have to be at the level headed and say to yourself that, well, Krishna's mercy is there, and you did something wrong, which because of which Krishna did not step in and help to solve that impediment or problem that's you're facing. And
Yeah,
especially in a profession like mine, where there's a lot of dependence on the clients to do things, and sometimes they don't do it, and you say to yourself that I tried everything, and I did this, I did that for you, I did this for you, and you start thinking that, well, I helped him out so much, and still he's not doing it. And so gotta have a change of mindset, saying that it's not you. You did, but there's a hand behind, and that helped you, go get over this. And so once you get in that mindset, then you can say to yourself that, well, maybe in this particular instance, you didn't go far enough to seek the mercy of the Lord, and that could be.
perfect, perfect. Yeah, and the example, Prabhu, there are two examples which comes to my mind as you are speaking. This triggered. See, sometimes we make kheer, and and kheer comes out good, and we so get puffed up. Hey, I made this kheer. It was liked by everybody, and that liking has induced that element of ego, proudness. That hey, I made this kheer. It turned out. But hey, let's step back. Let's think about it. This nice rice, basmati rice, came from the nature. The gas for burning and boiling came from Mother Nature. Mother cows gave this beautiful milk, this yellowish milk, which was in the cream of the kheer. And this entire simplification of the process of having it's all done by this municipalities who has provided the gas line, this that. There is 99% of contribution for the success of the kheer for to Mother Nature, whose Krishna is the creator, and the society who's given you all the amenities. And you just mixed it up. Fair enough, you did it with right consciousness. But there is a hand of everyone. The handiwork of Krishna, if it's seen in the taste of the kheer, then the kheer will even taste sweeter and all the ahankar will go away. And the second example, Prabhu, is Why is suicides happening? Because they think that this body is yours and they can take it away. But actually, the body without the soul is is just flesh. And who is the origin and the owner of the soul? Krishna. Krishna is saying, I am the super soul, and I look at the soul in you. With that bird, looking at another bird example we have given in the past, where you see a big bird looking at another bird who is, you might have seen that picture in Krishna book and other places. So when the body and soul doesn't belong to you, you have no right to take it away. If someone of this magnitude have understood this, they will never do suicide, because suicide is so. Krishna consciousness makes you stronger. And thank you for sharing that there is a hand of Krishna in everything we end up doing. Okay. Anything else? Any other comments? Any other reflections before we end?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Just to about this ahankar.
Mataji, for some reason I'm not able to hear. Everybody else are able to hear Mataji, or am I the only one?
Hare Krishna, now is it okay, Prabhuji?
A little louder, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhuji. So when you mentioned about false ego in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions like prakrute kriyamanani. Um, so even after hearing all those, so sometimes I tend to forget that it's a mercy of Guru and Gauranga. So, like, how could we constantly think it is only the mercy of Guru and Gauranga? So, is there any practical tips, Prabhuji? Haribol?
I can hear you, Mataji, but I don't know whether.
Can you hear, Prabhuji?
I couldn't hear you, Mataji, for some reason. Maybe it's my fault. Can you please summarize your question again, please, a little louder?
Yes, Prabhuji. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says Prakrute Kriyamanani. There's a sloka, right, Prabhuji, for false ego. So even after knowing everything, for sadhakas, sometimes we tend to feel that okay, this is done by me. This is done by me. Tend to forget it's because it happened due to the mercy of Guru and Gauranga. Uh, like how can we constantly in the conscious of it is a mercy of Guru and Gauranga? Is there any
Yes, yes. No, this is a good point. So, when we as sadhakas, as practitioners, it's not as if this ego and ahankar only happens to non-devotees. That's not what Mataji is saying. Is as sadhakas also, we get proudy. This humility is also a bit proudy. This humility is something you cannot fake. If you fake too much humility, it shows on you. So, Mataji's question, the bigger overarching question is how we as sadhakas become um, a- uh, become aware of the fact that in every work we do, there is mercy of Guru and Gauranga. Is that truly your question, right?
yes, Prabhuji? How can
Yes,
tips
yes.
like practical tips like
Yes, yes, yeah.
I have done this. Okay, after that, there is a gratitude. This is done only because of the mercy of Guru and Gauranga.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah. So I just want to give an example. My Gurudev is actually he can't walk. His devotees, the disciples take him on wheelchair. So there was this sadhu sangha in Dallas. So where he is he he's giving as to how his body is a wreck, and and his body is in a bad shape, this, that, and all. But and the way he says it, how his body is a wreck, and how he's just surviving by the power of Guru and Krishna, and Guru and Gauranga, and the entire thousands of uh, uh, attendees in that sadhu sangha, they're all crying when my Gurudev is uh, is uh, is with humility. He's saying how his body is in a bad, the worst shape, but everybody hearing the loud exclamation from His Holiness Jagata Swami Maharaj is crying that he could take the pain of the external consciousness through the power of the mercy from Guru and Guru. It's not easy as Krishna is saying, it's not easy to if Krishna consciousness, entering Krishna consciousness is has been a challenge for you. Maintaining Krishna consciousness is a privilege, as Prabhuji mentioned in the past in our group. So we should recognize that whatever we have got, if we have got good marks in physics, it's because of the beautiful teachers we had who had instilled that strength in physics. We are nothing. If nobody would have taught us, we would have done nothing so far. There is a handiwork of many, and that thing Mataji mentioned about, even if we are preaching, even if we are, speaking from the scriptures, without the mercy of Guru and Gauranga, it is not that. So the practical tip is to look at the mirror every day and say and think, and just internalize and uh, examine within ourselves as to whatever I have done, whatever show off I have done, whatever output I have done. Is there a handiwork of me in any sense? And more you probe, more you internalize, you realize you are an insignificant person, and the handiwork of the beautiful scriptures Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami has written, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has shown them, Srila Prabhupada has translated, our Gurudev giving the mercy of the holy name. There is a handiwork of everyone. And when we self-probe, when we self-internalize, we know how much we don't know. Until we do that, we think we know a lot. So self-reflection, because if we are not transforming every day, we are not growing. So the only way, Mataji, is to stand in front of a mirror every day and see whether there is a handiwork of anything of our creation, or there is a handiwork of Guru and Gauranga, and the answer will be in front of us. Was that okay?
Just one small comment, Prabhu. I think anything you do, right? Anything you do, anything and everything, just once the task is done, say to yourself, thank you, Krishna, thank you for making it happen. And it's it should kind of become a second nature. Once it becomes second nature, then you realize, but unless the process has to go on, and in the process, once you get to a stage where, as soon as the task is finished, you say thank you, and then, so if you do that, then it's saying to yourself that, well, I realized that this was not me, this was you that helped me do it.
Yep.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Definitely.
Thank you, both of you. Thank you, Prabhuji. So when you said it, it's introspection, and another Prabhuji is saying it's like develop the nature, second nature, like every time with gratitude, grateful.
Yes. Yes, Madhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Yes, Madhu. Prabhu.
Prabhuji, can
Go
you
ahead.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, Prabhuji, I joined late. Yeah, nice class, Prabhuji, as always. So Prabhuji, we have this ignorance, avidya, okay, from time memorial. So until unless we cleanse our ignorance, right, it's very difficult to constant remind of, right, what Mataji was asking, right, because that ignorance will allow, it makes us to forgetful, okay, right. So there are two things what I think, Prabhuji, like first we have to do our sadhana, okay, that morning sadhana is very important, okay, right. So from 5 to 6, right, we have to book our timing, okay, whatever may be the case, right. That's 4:30 to 6, I will be only do for Krishna, okay. So once you do properly the morning sadhana, I mean the rest of the day, I think you will be, it's hard, still hard, because we have that ignorance is still there, right. So until unless that ignorance is cleansed properly, we cannot remember, okay, I mean that we will continuously forgetful, okay. So then also we have to be make some timing, like for example after lunch maybe I will chant one round, or maybe hear some proper lecture, one or two round, right. Like we will like 2 or 3 time slot we have to take. So during that time slot, let's say I do 1 hour of chanting, or maybe I will hear some katha or something, okay. So with that, right, so we have to be, we know our where we are spending our time, okay, we know that, right. So for example, let's say evening time I generally want to go to park or something, okay. So there I want to hear some katha, okay, because you do your you take your kids to park, same time you can just plug something and listen some katha, right. So I mean we have to be little bit make your timing proper, like how we can split our time properly. And secondly, I believe like morning sadhana is very very important, Prabhuji, because the cheto darpana marjan, until unless we cleanse our heart, right, that avidya is there, Prabhuji. So it's very difficult to continuously remember it, okay. Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, so this aspect of lack of intelligence, lack of knowledge, which Prabhuji mentioned, avidya, that keeps coming back. Like say, for example, you are having medication for the ailments, but you are also growing up. You have the inherent tendency where the tissues are not working as per how it was working when you are 10 years old or 20 years old. So you need to have some catalyst, some vitamins. So unless we sort of energize ourselves with the techniques Prabhuji mentioned in the morning, waking up and chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, like that repeatedly. So you are basically adding catalyst to the whole day process. And also, when you start hearing katha, as Prabhuji mentioned, that's another technique by which you can definitely sort of arrest that avidya, because this lack of knowledge, the lack of knowledge in everybody's mind, where the Maya gets in and messes up things. So the avidya is there, the ability to sleep, the tamasic, the modes, the ability to forget, the ability to not retain. These are all traits of anarthas, and where if we really want to sort of cleanse this, we have to follow some techniques. First, we spoke about self introspection. Then Prabhuji mentioned thanking Krishna for everything. And the third technique is vitamins, which is essentially chanting every day morning and hearing Krishna Katha regularly. Once you hear regularly, this slowly and slowly, this avidya will go away. And when you do not chant, when you do not hear Krishna Katha, you feel as if you are fish out of water. And that natural tuning is very much important. And that's why our gurus have said the four regulative principles and chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. To keep this going, you come here, but you can't keep it going unless you have the vitamins and the vitamin power, which Prabhuji mentioned. That's all, Prabhu. Thank you so much for adding to our reflections. Anything else, Prabhu? And Mataji?
Also, Prabhuji, hearing is the most powerful thing, Prabhuji. Hearing and chanting, those two processes should go on, okay. Hearing at least 30 minutes in a day, okay, either proper lecture or any good, good lectures, right? Then once we hear that, right, maybe sometimes when we are free, try to recollect what we hear, okay? Try to, remember, okay? Generally, in my studies, whatever I study, I used to remember when I was free, okay? Right? When I'm free, what I studied in my day, okay? So similarly, when we hear some lecture, let's say I'm free now, okay? So what I do now, either chant or maybe try to, recollect what I hear today morning, okay? So that what happens, hearing as well as the remembrance also will go on, okay, parallel.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Hearing Krishna Katha, as you mentioned, regularly chanting are definitely very potent tools for remembering. Otherwise, the taste from Krishna consciousness will go away and Maya will set in. We have to guard ourselves, as Krishna is saying, Durgati in this. So we have to guard against it. Thank you so much. Very nice. Thank you. If there are no other comments and reflections, we can end here. Thank you so much for joining the Bhagavad Gita discussion, where you all contribute and we learn techniques from all of you. We are all in this together, in this journey. Otherwise, we'll be always be coming back in the birth and death cycles. We want to get away from that. That's why we choose on a Friday evening to really join this and try to take it forward. So, thank you very much for joining this Bhagavad Gita discussion forum. If there are no other comments, then we'd like to offer obeisances, the lotus feet of all Vaishnavas, by saying Vancha Kalpa Taru Vaishya Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavan Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Granth Raj Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.